Hey everyone, this is Spiro. These three men prompted lockdowns at two elementary schools yesterday in North Carolina. Now, as you can see here, these three men showed up at the schools, uh, presented what appeared to be military IDs, and began asking questions about whether the school was designated as a crisis evacuation center. Now, it didn't take long before these men were asked to leave the school, and the school notified the authorities. They called the cops on these guys. Now, the cops ended up contacting the military and asked them if there was any type of drill or exercise going on, and the military said no. There were no military personnel conducting any exercises in the area at that time. So, police put out a bulletin that they were searching for these three men, suspicious men, and like I stated, they went to two separate elementary schools. So at this point in time, during that time, they prompted a lockdown there as a security measure. Now, it turns out in the end that yes, these three men were identified as being part of the 83rd Civil Affairs Group from Fort Bragg. Now, Fort Bragg had given a written apology to the schools, and essentially it made the school and the military look kind of bad there yesterday. Now, they stated that the school was going to review their security procedures since they were getting a lot of criticism from parents that, well, how are these three guys just allowed to come right onto campus, and nobody knows about it? And the part that really ticked off the parents was they weren't notified for 7 hours that this had even taken place. So a lot of the parents kept their kids home from school today on Thursday. As you can see here, they state 24% of the students at White Oak Elementary were kept home by their parents, and 19% of students at Bogue Sound Elementary in Newport were also absent. Now, the school said that they were going to excuse these absences as they can understand parents were a little bit worked up about this. Now, the school said that they were going to review their security measures, and the military said that they have some retraining to do because these three men were not authorized at any point in time to go to these schools. And this prompted a major investigation by local, state, federal, and military law enforcement yesterday. They state right here that the soldiers' visit to the school was not part of the planned exercise that the unit was conducting. During the training exercise in the community, the soldiers in question deviated from the planned training to accomplish what are normal training objectives for our type of unit when they're deployed overseas. So right there, the U.S. military admits that they are conducting training exercises off base in local communities in which they're sending plain-clothed soldiers, plain-clothed military personnel without proper identification into towns. And the kicker is they did not notify anyone. Sheriff Buck said this was the first time he could remember where military officials had not informed county law enforcement ahead of time before conducting the military operations in the county. So I don't know about you guys, but these guys to me don't look like military personnel, and I guess it's because of the haircuts. Their hair is a little long for your typical military style haircut, in my opinion, and these guys were reported initially as suspicious individuals, non-Caucasian males, average height and weight kind of a thing, a little on the thin side. But the U.S. military did in fact vouch for these guys. The question is what were they doing? Why were they out here conducting this exercise? They state was a one-day exercise, not informing local law enforcement, not having proper identification on them, not uniformed. What were they doing out here? Who are these guys? They're not releasing any information about them other than these images. One other thing I find strange here is the guy that sent me this link here asked me to read the comments. He's like, make sure you read the comments. He's like, people are freaking out. He's like, they've kind of washed this off the media. It was all over the news down there, the local news, until the military said that they were there, guys. And then all of a sudden it was like it disappeared. And this was one of the only outlets talking about this. And he said, make sure you read the comments. Well, I'm showing zero comments. There is no comments here. I even created an account, logged in, and went to look just to be sure, and there are no comments. So it looks like they're being scrubbed. So I'll leave links. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any more information, leave a comment. Till next time, this is Spiro. Much love.